Commander Park Jin-woo walked through the empty corridors of the Seoul Space Communications Center. His footsteps echoed in the silence that had lasted for 50 years. The massive screens that once displayed messages from alien worlds now showed only static and darkness. This place had been the heart of Earth's first contact with the galaxy, but now it felt like a tomb. He stopped at the main console where Dr. Lee Mina was reviewing old recordings. Her fingers moved across the keyboard as she played the same alien transmission for the 100th time. The voice of the Galactic Confederation representative was cold and dismissive, speaking to Earth's leaders like they were children who had wandered into an adult conversation. "Your species shows promise," the alien voice said through the speakers, "but you are not ready for a galactic society. Your technology is primitive. Your weapons are crude. Your understanding of space travel is elementary at best." Mina paused the recording and looked up at Jinwoo. "They called us lucky accidents," she said quietly. "They said we stumbled into space travel without really understanding what we were doing." Jinwoo remembered that day clearly. He had been a young lieutenant then, standing in this very room when the aliens made their decision. Earth would be placed under quarantine. No contact, no trade, no communication. The galaxy would move forward without humanity, leaving them behind like a footnote in cosmic history. The Confederation Council has decided, the alien representative had announced 50 years ago. Earth will remain isolated until your species demonstrates true advancement. Do not attempt to contact us. We will know when you are ready. The transmission had ended with a click, and Earth had been alone ever since. Mina switched to another file, showing the alien ships that had visited Earth during those brief months of first contact. The vessels were sleek and advanced, making Earth's rockets look like toys in comparison. The aliens had studied human technology with the same interest a scientist might show when examining the tools of primitive cavemen. They were so confident, Mina said, watching the footage of alien diplomats walking through human cities. They acted like they were doing us a favor by even talking to us, like we should be grateful for their attention. Aliens had been polite but condescending. They spoke slowly when addressing humans, as if explaining complex ideas to children. They smiled when humans showed them Earth's most advanced computers, the same way adults smile when a child proudly displays a crayon drawing. Everything about their behavior suggested they saw humans as an inferior species that might someday evolve into something worth their time. Jinwoo moved to the observation deck and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Galactic Confederation was conducting business across hundreds of worlds. They had trade routes, diplomatic missions, and military fleets moving between star systems. Meanwhile, Earth sat in enforced isolation, forgotten, and ignored. The quarantine had been absolute. Any human ship that ventured beyond the solar system was turned back by automated alien probes. The message was always the same: return to your homeworld. You're not authorized for galactic travel. But the aliens had made one crucial mistake in their assessment of humanity. They had judged humans by their technology and weapons, not by their spirit. They had seen primitive rockets and nuclear weapons, but they had missed the determination that drove humans to reach for the stars despite the odds. They had noticed the crude computers, but they had overlooked the brilliant minds that had created them from nothing. Dr. Choi Youngmin entered the observation deck carrying a tablet filled with reports. He had been working on classified projects for decades, ever since the aliens had cut off contact. His hair was gray now, and his face showed the strain of years spent in underground laboratories. "The Council wants an update," he said to Jinwoo. "They're asking about the timeline again." Jinwoo nodded. The United Earth Council had been formed within a year of the alien quarantine. For the first time in human history, every nation had agreed to work together toward a single goal. The aliens had united humanity in a way that nothing else ever could. "Tell them we're ahead of schedule," Jinwoo replied. The aliens wanted to see advancement. They're going to get more than they bargained for. Youngmin smiled grimly. "Think we're still using the same technology they saw 50 years ago? They have no idea what we've been working on." The three men stood in comfortable silence, looking out at the stars. The galaxy had written off humanity as primitive and forgettable. The Confederation had moved on with their business, secure in their belief that Earth posed no threat and offered no value. But humans had long memories. They remembered every dismissive comment, every condescending smile, every moment when they had been treated as lesser beings. The aliens had expected humans to accept their place as cosmic children, waiting patiently for permission to join the adult conversation. Instead, humanity had spent 50 years preparing to remind the galaxy exactly who they were dealing with. The silence would not last forever, and when it ended, the Confederation would learn that their greatest mistake had been underestimating the species they had chosen to ignore. The stars seemed to twinkle with anticipation, as if they knew that change was coming. General Kim Do-yeon stood before the massive holographic display in the underground command center beneath Seoul. The room was carved deep into the mountain, hidden from any alien sensors that might still be watching Earth. Around him, representatives from every nation on the planet sat in chairs arranged in a perfect circle. For the first time in human history, there were no flags, no separate delegations, no political divisions. There was only Earth, united in purpose. 50 years ago, they called us primitive, Do-yeon said, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. They said we were lucky accidents who stumbled into space travel. They placed us under quarantine like we were sick children who needed to be kept away from the adults. The holographic display showed images from those early days of first contact. Alien diplomats walking through human cities, their faces showing polite disgust at Earth's technology. Human leaders trying desperately to prove their worth, only to be dismissed with patronizing smiles. But they made one mistake, Do-yeon continued. They forgot that humans don't give up.
Oh.
They forgot that when you corner a dangerous animal, it doesn't become weaker, it becomes more dangerous. Engineer Song-hoon activated the next series of displays. The hologram shifted to show blueprints and technical specifications that would have been impossible 50 years ago. Ships that could move through space without being detected. Weapons that could disable entire fleets without destroying them. Communication systems that operated faster than anything the aliens possessed. We didn't just copy their technology, Song explained to the assembled delegates. We improved it. We made it better, made it human. Delegates leaned forward, studying the designs with amazement. Captain Han Suben, one of the test pilots for the new ships, stood to address the group. The alien vessels we saw during first contact moved like cargo ships, slow, predictable, following standard flight patterns. Our ships moved like hunters, fast, silent, deadly when necessary. Dr. Choi Youngmin brought up the next display, showing the quantum communication network that now connected every major city on Earth. The aliens communicate using methods we understand completely. We can intercept their messages, decode their transmissions, and monitor their activities across the galaxy. But our communication system is based on quantum entanglement. Even if they discover it, they won't be able to understand how it works. The transformation of Earth had been remarkable. Within 5 years of the alien quarantine, every major corporation had turned its resources toward space technology. Every university had focused its research on alien science. Every government had contributed its best minds to the unified effort. Commander. Park Jin-woo walked to the center of the circle, carrying a small device that looked like a simple tablet. This contains everything we've learned about the Galactic Confederation in the past 50 years. Their military strength, their political structure, their technological capabilities, and most importantly, their weaknesses. He activated the device, and the holographic display changed to show star maps of the galaxy.
S.
Red dots marked Confederation. Military bases, blue dots showed major population centers, and green dots indicated important trade routes. They've grown complacent, Jinwoo explained. Haven't fought a real war in over a century. Their military tactics are outdated. Their ships are designed for patrol duty, not combat. They've forgotten what it means to face an enemy that can think and adapt. Lieutenant Nam Kung-soo, who had spent decades monitoring alien communications, stood to present his findings. The Confederation still believes Earth is primitive. Our files list our technology level as barely capable of interplanetary travel. They think our most advanced weapons are nuclear missiles. They have no idea what we've actually accomplished. Room buzzed with quiet conversation as the delegates absorbed this information. Admiral Yoon-ju Ye, the commander of Earth's hidden fleet, brought up the final display. It showed the locations of secret human bases throughout the solar system, each one invisible to alien sensors. "We've been testing our technology for 10 years, she said. "Our ships can travel faster than anything the Confederation has. Our weapons can disable their vessels without destroying them. Our pilots train in combat scenarios that their military hasn't even imagined." President Lim Hyunjin, who had been elected as Earth's unified leader, stood to address the assembly. The aliens wanted to see advancement. They wanted proof that humanity was ready for galactic society. "We're going to give them exactly what they asked for." The delegates began to smile as they understood the implications. Earth had not spent 50 years sulking in isolation. They had spent 50 years preparing for the moment when they would emerge from the shadows and remind the galaxy exactly who they were dealing with. "The Confederation made the same mistake that every powerful empire makes," Hyunjin continued. "They became so comfortable with their superiority that they stopped paying attention to potential threats. They dismissed us as primitive and forgot about us completely." Dr. Song pulled up the final hologram, showing the timeline for Earth's emergence from quarantine. Phase 1 begins next month. We start by establishing hidden outposts in unclaimed space. Phase 2 involves intelligence gathering on Confederation activities. Phase 3 will be our formal reintroduction to galactic society. The delegates stood as one, their faces showing determination and pride. The aliens had wanted to see human advancement. They were about to discover that humanity had advanced far beyond their worst nightmares. Admiral Yoon Jie stood on the bridge of the stealth ship Soul's Pride, watching the stars through the transparent aluminum viewport. The ship moved through space like a ghost, its advanced cloaking technology making it completely invisible to any alien sensors. Behind her, the crew worked quietly at their stations, monitoring the construction of humanity's newest hidden outpost.
"Admiral?"
"The mining operation is complete," reported Lieutenant Nam Kyun-soo from his station. "The asteroid base is ready for activation." Jay nodded, watching as the hollowed-out asteroid transformed into a fully functional military installation. From the outside, it looked like any other piece of space rock drifting through the void. Inside, it contained everything needed to support a small fleet of ships: weapons, manufacturing facilities, and communication arrays that could reach across the galaxy. This was the 15th base they had established in the past year. Each one was carefully positioned in unclaimed space, far from major alien shipping routes, but close enough to monitor Confederation activities. The aliens had no idea that humanity had quietly spread across hundreds of star systems. Captain O. Sung-ho's voice came through the communication system from the surface of the asteroid. "Base construction is complete. We're ready to begin Phase 2 operations." GA smiled. Phase 2 involves something the aliens would never expect from the primitive species they had dismissed. Human intelligence gathering had always been one of their greatest strengths, and now they were applying those skills on a galactic scale. "Begin passive monitoring of all Confederation communications in this sector," GA ordered. "I want to know about every ship movement, every diplomatic message, and every military exercise within 50 light-years of our position." The crew of the Soul's Pride had been specially trained for this mission. They could operate in complete silence for months at a time, gathering intelligence while remaining completely undetected. Their ship was equipped with technology that could intercept and decode alien communications, map enemy positions, and identify potential weaknesses in Confederation defenses. Commander Shin Woo-jin entered the bridge carrying a tablet filled with reports from other human operations. "Admiral, we're receiving updates from the other sectors. Captain Kwon Haijin reports successful establishment of bases in the Kepler region. Major Lee Jisoo has confirmed operational status for the Centauri listening post." GA took the tablet and reviewed the reports. In just 10 years, humanity had established a network of hidden bases that spanned across the galaxy. Each base was completely self-sufficient, powered by fusion reactors and equipped with manufacturing facilities that could produce ships, weapons, and equipment as needed. "Any alien activity?" she asked. 3 Confederation patrol ships passed through the Vega system last week, Woojin reported. "They didn't detect our base there. Diplomatic convoy traveled through the Altair region yesterday. Our listening post intercepted their communications.
Right.
They're discussing trade agreements with the Tarkan species. GA was particularly interested in the Tarkan. According to intercepted communications, they were a warrior species that had been causing problems for the Confederation. The aliens were growing worried about increasing tensions in the outer ARIM territories. "What about our missing ship's protocol?" she asked. Wu Jin smiled grimly. "Working perfectly. Last month, a Confederation science vessel stumbled across our Proxima base. Captain Park Jin-woo's team disabled their ship and erased all sensor records. The crew was returned to their home base with no memory of what they had seen. Their command reported it as a equipment malfunction. This had happened 17 times in the past 5 years. Alien ships that accidentally discovered human installations were dealt with quietly and efficiently. The crews were never harmed, but their ship's sensor records were wiped clean and their memories were chemically altered to remove any trace of the encounter. To the Confederation, these incidents looked like random equipment failures or unexplained disappearances. The aliens are starting to notice the pattern," Wu Jin continued. "Their reports mention increasing equipment failures in deep space. Of their commanders are beginning to suspect sabotage, but they're looking at other alien species as potential culprits. They haven't even considered that humans might be involved." Lieutenant Songhound looked up from her station. "Admiral, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command." GA moved to the secure communication console. The message was from General Kim Do-yeon. Transmitted through the quantum entanglement network that connected all human installations across the galaxy. Admiral Yune's voice was clear despite the vast distance. "Intelligence reports indicate that tensions are rising between the Confederation and several member species. The Tarkan situation is becoming critical. We may need to accelerate." "Our timeline?" GA understood immediately. The original plan had been to continue gathering intelligence for another 5 years before revealing humanity's presence to the galaxy. But if a major conflict was developing, it might provide the perfect opportunity to demonstrate Earth's capabilities. "Understood, General," she replied. "All bases are operational and ready for Phase 3 operations. Our fleet assets are positioned throughout the galaxy, can begin active operations at any time." Dr. Choi Youngmin, who had been monitoring alien communications, suddenly straightened at his station. "Admiral, we're detecting massive fleet movements in the Rigel sector. It looks like the Confederation is mobilizing for military action." GA moved to the tactical display, studying the patterns of ship movements. The aliens were preparing for war, but they had no idea that humanity was watching their every move. Earth's hidden network of bases had given them complete intelligence coverage of the galaxy. "Send a message to all base commanders," she ordered. "Tell them to prepare for active operations. The galaxy is about to remember that Earth exists." Fleet Admiral Zhang Mingyi received the authorization code from Earth Command as she stood on the bridge of the massive battleship New Sol. The ship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It's built in secret orbital shipyards hidden behind Earth's moon. Its hull was covered in adaptive armor that could shift and change to deflect energy weapons. And its engines used technology that made it faster than any Confederation vessel. "Admiral, all fleet commanders are reporting ready status," said Commander Shin Woo-jin from his position at the tactical station. 15 battle groups are in position around the Altair system. Minji looked at the holographic display showing the chaos unfolding in the star system ahead. The Tarkan War had been raging for 3 years, with 3 major galactic powers tearing each other apart in a brutal conflict. The Confederation's peacekeeping forces had tried to stop the fighting, but they were outgunned and overwhelmed. "Tarkans have superior weapons," reported Captain Quan Haijin from the intelligence station. "The Valdris Empire has better ships. The Confederation has more numbers, but outdated tactics. They're all destroying each other, and civilian populations are caught in the middle." Minji had been watching this war develop for months. The Tarkans were a proud warrior species who refused to accept Confederation authority. The Valdris Empire saw an opportunity to expand their territory. Confederation was trying to maintain peace, but lacked the military strength to enforce it. "Admiral, "We're receiving a distress signal from the Confederation flagship," announced Lieutenant Nam. "Their commander is requesting immediate assistance. They're taking heavy damage from both enemy fleets." This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. Earth's leaders had decided that the best way to reveal their presence was not through diplomacy or grand announcements, but through action. It would show the galaxy what humans could do when they were no longer hiding in the shadows. "All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump," Minji ordered. "We're going to end this war today." The human fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation above the Altair system. 15 battle groups, each containing ships that moved like living creatures through the void. The alien commanders on all sides stopped firing as their sensors detected the new arrivals. "Unknown vessels, identify yourselves," came a transmission from the Confederation flagship. "This is Admiral Vexstar of the Galactic Confederation fleet. You are entering a restricted combat zone." Minji smiled as she opened a communication channel to all ships in the system. "This is Fleet Admiral Jang Minji of the Earth Defense Force. We are here to restore peace to this system." The response was immediate and predictable. Confused voices filled the communication channels as alien commanders tried to understand what they were seeing. Earth had been quarantined for 50 years. The primitive humans weren't supposed to have ships like these. "It's impossible," transmitted the Tarkin war leader. "Earth species are primitive. They have no advanced technology. Your records are outdated," Minji replied calmly. "We suggest you power down your weapons and prepare to withdraw from this system." The Tarkin commander's response was a volley of plasma torpedoes, aimed directly at the new Sol. The weapons struck the ship's adaptive armor and simply dissipated like water hitting a stone. The human ship didn't even slow down, Captain Lee. Jisoo, commanding the destroyer Bazan's Blade, moved her ship between the two largest enemy fleets. "Admiral, beginning tactical separation of hostile forces." What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for generations. The human ships moved with precision that seemed impossible. They used gravitational field generators to literally push enemy vessels apart, preventing them from continuing their battle. When the aliens tried to resume fighting, electromagnetic pulse weapons disabled their targeting systems without destroying their ships. "How are they doing this?" transmitted the Valdris commander, as his flagship's weapons system shut down completely. "Our shields are still active, but none of our weapons are responding."
Actor Songhound,
monitoring the battle from the new Sols. Science Station explained to Admiral Minji what was happening. "The aliens designed their ships for maximum firepower. We designed ours for maximum tactical flexibility. They're trying to fight us using strategies that are centuries old." 6 hours, the human fleet had completely neutralized all 3 warring factions without destroying a single ship. The Tarkin vessels found themselves unable to move as tractor beams held them in place. The Valdris Empire ships were surrounded by human vessels that seemed to anticipate their every move. The Confederation fleet watched in amazement as their enemies were systematically defeated by tactics they had never seen before. "This is impossible," transmitted Admiral Vexstar. "Our intelligence reports indicate that Earth species lack advanced military technology. Your ships use systems we don't recognize. Your intelligence is 50 years out of date," Minji replied. "We've been busy." The alien commanders found themselves facing a choice. They could continue fighting and risk complete destruction, or they could accept the reality that the galaxy had changed. The primitive species they had dismissed was now demonstrating military capabilities that a bet surpassed anything the Confederation possessed. "We surrender," transmitted the Tarkon war leader. "But we demand to know how Earth acquired such advanced technology." Minji looked around the bridge at her crew. These were the children and grandchildren of the humans who had been dismissed. As primitive 50 years ago, they had spent their entire lives preparing for this moment, just like we told you we would. The galaxy's military leaders stared at their displays in stunned silence, finally understanding that their greatest mistake had been underestimating the species they had chosen to ignore. Ambassador Bei Sang-hoon walked through the grand corridors of the Galactic Confederation Council building on the planet, Nexus Prime. The massive structure had been built to impress visitors with its towering crystal walls and floating platforms that defied gravity. For 50 years, no human had walked these halls. Today, everything would change. Behind him followed a small group of Earth's finest representatives. Dr. Lee Mina carried the diplomatic credentials that would formally end humanity's quarantine. General Kim Do-yeon wore the uniform of the United Earth Defense Force, its simple design making the elaborate alien military decorations look foolish by comparison. Captain Park Jin-woo held a data tablet containing 50 years of evidence that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of human capabilities. The emergency session had been called within hours of the Altair incident. Every major species in the Confederation had demanded an explanation for how the primitive humans had suddenly appeared with technology that surpassed their own. The council chambers were packed with alien delegates, all of them staring at the human delegation with mixtures of fear, confusion, and anger. The council recognizes Ambassador Bae Sang-hoon of the Earth species, announced the council speaker, a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. You may present your statement. Sang-hoon walked to the center of the chamber where a holographic projector waited, activated the device, and images from 50 years ago appeared in the air around him. The first contact meetings, the condescending alien diplomats, the moment when Earth was placed under quarantine. We remember this day clearly, Sang-hoon said, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. We remember being called primitive. We remember being told that our technology was crude and our understanding was elementary. We remember being dismissed as lucky accidents who had stumbled into space travel. The alien delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Many of them had been present during those original meetings, confident in their superiority over the backward humans. You placed us under quarantine, Sang-hoon continued. You told us we were not ready for galactic society. She said you would contact us when we had advanced enough to be worthy of your attention. The holographic display changed to show the hidden human bases scattered across the galaxy. Secret shipyards, research facilities, military installations, and communication networks that had been operating for decades without detection. While you forgot about us, we did not forget about you, Sang-hoon said. We spent 50 years watching, learning, and preparing. We studied your technology and improved upon it. We observed your military tactics and developed better ones. We monitored your communications and learned your weaknesses. Council Speaker Vex Skalin, the same alien who had led the quarantine decision, 50 years ago, stood up from his seat. This is impossible. Our intelligence reports clearly state that Earth lacks advanced technology. Your species should not possess the capabilities we witnessed at Altair.
Actually, Mina
Stepped forward, activating another holographic display. Your intelligence reports are based on observations made 50 years ago. You assumed we would remain static, never advancing, never growing. That was your first mistake. The display showed the development of human technology over the past 5 decades. Fusion reactors that powered entire cities, quantum computers that could solve problems in seconds, ships that could travel faster than light using principles. The aliens had never discovered. Your second mistake, General Kim Do-yeon added, was believing that primitive meant inferior. You judged us by our technology, not by our potential. You saw crude weapons and assumed we lacked strategic thinking. You saw basic computers and assumed we lacked intelligence. The chamber erupted in angry voices as alien delegates began arguing. Among themselves, some demanded that Earth be punished for violating quarantine. Others insisted that humanity's hidden expansion was an act of war. A few wise delegates suggested that perhaps they should listen to what the humans had to say. President Lim Hunjin's image appeared in the holographic display, transmitted directly from Earth. The Galactic Confederation has a choice to make, she said calmly. You can continue to see humanity as a threat to be contained, or you can accept us as equals to be respected. The President's message was broadcast simultaneously across every major world in the Confederation. We do not seek revenge for 50 years of isolation. We do not demand apologies for being dismissed as primitive. We do not wish to conquer or dominate. We simply want what every species wants to be treated, with dignity and respect. Captain Park Jin-woo activated the final holographic display, showing the scope of human military capabilities. Ships that could disable entire fleets without destroying them. Weapons that could end wars without creating massacres. Technology That could solve problems rather than create them. At Altair, we demonstrated our military strength, Jinwoo said. We also demonstrated our restraint. Could have destroyed all 3 fleets, but instead we chose to disable them. Could have conquered the system, but instead we chose to restore peace. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Humanity had possessed the power to take revenge for 50 years of dismissal and humiliation. But they had chosen a different path. Council Speaker Vexcalan spoke slowly, his voice filled with a mixture of respect and fear. What does Earth want from the Confederation? Ambassador Sang-hoon smiled. Partnership. Out as junior members grateful for your attention, but as equals contributing to the galaxy's future. We offer our knowledge, our technology, and our unique perspective on problem solving. The vote was unanimous. Earth would join the Confederation as a full member, with equal status. Their flag raised alongside the banners of the galaxy's greatest civilizations. The species that had been written off as primitive had become the galaxy's newest leaders.